Hello, my friends. This is the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twin Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. And that's not just blowing smoke. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Cool breeze in my head, bittersweet smoke flying through the air. It's the way I feel, smoking on a fat cigar.
There we go.
Oh,
I think we're good.
Is that good?
I think we're good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Do we hear? Does people hear us, Dave?
I hope we'll find out.
Does people hear us?
Hello.
Go check
Let
on
us
the
know
internet.
if you can hear us.
Check on
Hello.
the internet. Do you hear me, Bree?
John's
I
like,
can hear you,
unmute.
Don.
No
Bree?
kidding.
I can hear you,
All
Don.
right, then we can hear. People can hear us now. Okay, very good. So finally, it is time for Not Just Blowing Smoke. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. We're coming at you live from Twin Smoke Shop Studio headquarters in Londonderry, New Hampshire. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube Live, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening after the fact on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, Google, or wherever else you might have found this, because we're freaking everywhere, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't ever miss a thing. I'm Pastor Padron, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Pipey Pat and Dave and Confused, and we have Debris from the 724 Lounge.
Hey.
Our favorite piper of the lounge variety, yes. And today we're doing a kind of the follow-up to what we have been doing the last few weeks. The last 3 weeks we talked about the best new cigars of 2022, and this is a podcast that also looks at pipes. We did a lot of that over 2022, and when we changed our location, we kind of changed our style a little bit. Pipes aren't every week like they were before, at least up to now. And so, but what we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about what we felt were the best pipe tobaccos of 2022. And a little bit of background here. At Pipe Club, we do a Pipe Club every second Saturday of the month at Twins. It's a very active group of guys and ladies who come to that every month. I put out 4, now pipe tobaccos don't come out new near as often as cigars do. So there weren't a whole lot of things to choose from. But there were 4 new blends that came out in 2022, 4 new things that had previously not been on the market in the U.S. And I made those blind for Pipe Club, and they smoked all 4. So they were the tobaccos were taken out of their tins and put into plain bags and smoked by all the people. It was about 20 people on Saturday who came and smoked them and rated them from 1 to 10 as far as, how was it right out of the bag that they got it from. How was the moisture content? How did it feel? How did it light? Did it stay lit? Did it smoke well? How was the flavor? The smoke content, all of that stuff. And what we are smoking tonight are the 2 top choices from those 4.
Top 2.
The top 2. And those were Queen City.
724 Briary
724's Briary Blend Queen City. And Gawath Hogarth and Company's Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut. Dark Bird's Eye, what they're calling classic now, has been out for a very, very long time. That's a shag cut version of the tobacco. And this particular thing, which they just released, at least to the United States, I've never been able to figure out if it's been available in England up till now or not. But it's never been available in the United States, so we're calling it a new blend. It's a ribbon cut version of the same stuff. And because the cut is wider, it burns differently, it burns slower, and therefore tastes differently than the shag cut does. And so we are smoking both of these tonight as our choices for Best New Tobacco of the Year, and we're going to be picking one of these two as our choice for the Best New Blend of 2022. Oh, look at this. I see Kendra here.
Is Kendra going to join us?
Yeah. Pat, are you packing your pipe again, Pat?
What?
Are you okay, Pat?
I'm
What?
tapping my pipe.
Well, you're burning yourself is what you're
Fire.
doing.
What the fuck?
Oh my gosh, what's going on here?
What's happening?
What's going on here?
Oh,
Oh wow.
Pat, you got a little present. What is this? They're daddy socks. Daddy socks.
Oh.
Who's your daddy?
Or is Pat a daddy now? Did something happen over the weekend that I'm not aware of, Pat?
Dun dun dun.
Pat, explain the daddy socks.
Congratulations.
You know, there's more D's in daddy than any other letter.
Are you going to explain what this is, other than saying that there are 3 D's in daddy? We all could have figured that out ourselves, Patio.
oh.
I plead the fifth.
I don't know if I'd do that. There's people here who would be very happy to explain what that means.
Oh.
Oh,
Do you need a mic, Kendra?
yeah. Okay. So I think I'm
Told
having
ya.
deja vu. I may have explained this scenario a couple of nights ago, but Pat is our resident daddy here at Twin Smoke Shop.
Daddy Pat.
This started at the bar when he was merely a barback, and it was our form of hazing. I mean, it kind of stuck, but I'll never forget the look on Pat's face when he's cleaning an ashtray, and I go, "Hey, Daddy, can you get that clean?"
I think that was in front of my father, and he was questioning why I was called daddy when I was cleaning an ashtray.
He's passing down the heritage.
Oh, yes.
Daddy Pat.
To think that this moment is immortalized in the internet now.
Daddy Pat.
Beautiful.
Daddy Pat. Daddy Daddy Pat. Daddy Pat. Daddy Boop. Daddy Daddy Pat. Daddy Pat. Ba-dum bum bum.
Oh, yeah.
You got nothing to say there, Pat?
I'm already almost done my bowl.
I'm not surprised. You probably put like half a bowl in there?
That was a full bowl.
It was a full bowl. All right. Well, we are starting off here smoking the Queen City, the 724 Briary blend. It is a Virginia Perique made with Red Virginia Cavendish, Red Virginia Cavendish, and St. James Perique. It's made for us by Cornell and Deal, and Jeremy Reeves, the head blender down there, makes that for twins.
Yeah, baby.
And there's no flavoring on it. It's a ribbon cut. And what are we drinking with this?
So I'm
Something.
assuming just go over part 1, right?
Yes, part 1.
So some of you may have been here in the past for an
In the
event that we
past.
did with Ardbeg. So Ardbeg is a Scotch. They are one of the more peated
Ardbeg.
Scotch, so they have that smoky flavor to them. Our event that we did was for the I believe the Ardbeg Scorched, which is definitely a pricier barrel. So today we are drinking the Ardbeg 10-year, which is their standard baseline Ardbeg. Typically, those peated Scotches, in my opinion, tend to go pretty phenomenally with pipe tobacco. And we had great success at that event, so we're revisiting it, and I think that that was kind of the logic behind tonight's choice.
What are you thinking of it so far with this?
So
pairing?
I haven't sipped it yet, but I'm getting reacquainted with the Queen City.
What are you picking
and
up from that?
I think it's gonna go well, just because I'm getting to the point in the bowl where it's warmed, and I'm really getting that like stone fruit almost on like my front palate, and it's almost like that slight like tartness, but with that like sweet perique underneath it, and it's just So I'm gonna take a sip here.
Sniff it, then sip it.
Interesting too, because not having in partook.
Not having
Partaken.
not having in partooken.
I'm smelling a lot of the fruit. even though there's not really much fruit in the scotch. So I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm having a stroke. But
Wouldn't be the first time something bad's happened here on the podcast.
jeez.
Dun, dun, dun.
Pat, have you had a sip of the?
The sipaloo, the dippadoo.
Yeah, the Queen City on its own has like that kind of like spicy texture to it, but it's not really like that stimulation. And it has like that Delk stone fruit, a little bit of fig.
There's a
And
little
it
bit of
leaves
cocoa
like
in there too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it leaves like a kind of a cocoa sourdough cream kind of finish to it. And then the scotch, obviously being peated, adds kind of a more, like a leather undertone to it. Then I think it brings out that spice that you don't necessarily get on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a super peated scotch, the 10-year.
Pretty smooth.
It's very smooth, and it adds that smoky quality to it. Just kind of adds a whole different level to the tobacco, I think. Dave, what about you? What's your thoughts there?
Jeez.
Wow,
Well,
everyone's just
to me-
right on point tonight.
to me, I don't know. To me, the scotch was pretty peaty.
I don't know if you've had a lot of peaty scotches. Honestly,
I don't. Yeah.
I think peat is one of those things that's kind of interesting because you get people who live for the smoke. They die for the smoke. They love peated scotch. They love
Oh,
red
this
cow.
isn't smoky. This is
like-
definitely more woody.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean? This is like it's a very creamy, light wood taste, and it's kind of like the spice that I was getting before in the tobacco is like gone, and now it's just like the sweetnesses of the Virginias, like the dates and stuff like that, with a little cocoa overtone. That's all I'm getting right now, with the as the pairing is together.
well, that's kind of what's interesting though. It's like this I think is like almost smoother than I remember it. But yeah, I think once you have that extreme smokiness in any kind of liquor, and then you go back to something that's just mildly peated, you almost have to like overthink like how much peat is really in the drink.
Pat, what's your feeling on the pairing right now? Are you stoned, Pat?
What?
I don't know.
Patty Daddy.
I don't anyway,
Just snorted.
it's a good pairing. I think
P Daddy.
P Daddy.
my experience with scotches is they typically pair kind of like coffee would with tobacco, so it's not really, you really can't go wrong with it.
No, I agree.
The only one that I think is usually advantageous to a pairing is the Wee Beastie Ardbeg, which is only a 5-year age scotch, so it's like really, really peated. So sometimes that can kind of, conquer the profile of a cigar, but Ardbeg 10's pretty standard. You have like Johnny Walker Black is, I mean, Rocky would tell you it's probably the best pairing for a cigar, but so yeah, scotches are kind of a safe game. It's not really changing much of the profile. It's just adding on the finish like that leather note to it, then it's just bringing forward that spice note. So it's kind of helps you dig deeper into the tobacco.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about one of the events that's coming up here at Twins. We have an event with Drew Estate featuring Blackened Cigars on January 26th and 27th. Thursday the 26th, that'll be at Hooksit from 2 to 5 p.m. And then here at Londonderry on the 27th, Friday the 27th, from 4 to 7 p.m. And then it'll probably go on afterwards, especially up here at the bar, where there'll be also pairings with the cigars and blackened scotch, or whiskey, blackened whiskey, excuse me. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Nick Laramie, good friend of the podcast, great friend of Twins, is going to be here. it's going to be a really fun time. There'll be all sorts of raffles and things going on. It's going to be very, very good. All right, so that's what's going on at Twins this month. We just had the cigar hacks walk in. It's always very disturbing when that happens. Hi, how you doing? How you doing, Nurse Rick? Fabulous, very good, very good. Yep. Some people say fine. Rick says fabulous. Let's talk a little bit about some of the best blends of pipe tobacco that we enjoyed on the podcast over the last year. What are some of the things that you really enjoyed having for pipe tobacco over the year? For me, so that I can get the ball rolling here, the Beast from C&D, which was a major Perique blend.
That was last year. Wow.
And that had been soaked in rum for 7 days. That was very, very good stuff. I enjoyed that. One of the blends we're having tonight, the Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut, was also one of the highlights, I think, of the year for me, as well as the HH Old Dark Fired by McBaron. That was very, very good too. What about you, Dave? What were some of your standouts?
Definitely the H.H. McBaron.
Mac Baron, not Mick Baron.
Mac, Patty Whack.
Yeah, it's
Diddy.
Mac.
The new Sun Bear.
Mm-hmm. Mountain Flower.
That was fantastic.
That was by far and away the best small batch as far as like just as in terms of sales. You know, we bought more of it and it sold quicker than anything else that we'd gotten in the last few years.
And I swear I can taste the tequila in it. I don't know about you guys, but
I don't taste the tequila, but it's very good stuff.
You know, it's got
There's
that
very little
mellow
tequila in
woodiness.
there. Anything else stand out to you, Dave?
The when you shared your was it Penzance?
Yep.
And when we did that, that was what a treat that was.
You
That
like
was
that?
fantastic. And of course the Bird's Eye. That
Yep.
was you know, me and you were both big fans of Bird's Eye.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely amazing. But my highlight was definitely the Sun Bear.
Pat?
The Stillwell Star. Just kidding.
Yeah. Pipe tobacco cigars don't count as pipe tobacco, Pat. We love you, Pat.
I like
ribbon
the
cut one.
the Mississippi River rum. Is it rum or bourbon? Right.
Mississippi is bourbon barrel.
No, like
And the rum is the
those were new this
yellow.
year, right? The
Those were
Reserve?
new this year, yep.
Yeah.
No.
So that episode
That was really good,
when
yes.
we smoked Mississippi River Reserve, Core Line, and then the rum barrel.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably, and then the Dog Bird's Eye Vintage Cut.
Vintage cut, which we're smoking next, yes.
Yep. So those would probably be my two for the year.
If Bree had been with us, I'd ask her. What have been some of your favorite pipe tobaccos to smoke, Bree?
So I heard
I don't want
a
you
few
to
of
say
them
nothing.
named.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the Sun Bear, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I think it was one of ours.
Oh, the Boston Tea Party?
Yes, I really enjoyed that. And I'm not sure if it came out this year, but I really liked the Cornell and Deal, the Cthulhu one. That was it, like the deep ones or something of the,
Yeah, there was the old ones in the
yes,
series.
the
Yeah.
old ones. I think it was whichever one had Cthulhu.
that series. The whole series has Cthulhu on it.
I think it was like the deep one.
It was like probably the dark green one.
Yes.
From Beyond?
Yes, From Beyond. That was it.
Yeah, that's one of Dave's favorites, too.
Yes, I really liked that one. And then I'm going to also jump on the Dark Bird Eye Vintage Cut.
Yeah.
That, just anything with that strong, like, Perique, like that.
Those
good
are
for
very... So it's interesting that we all like that Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut. That's very telling for what may happen tonight. So another thing we can talk about is the best line extension. And by that, I would mean kind of like with cigars, you add something in there, not so much as being a new blend, but a new presentation or an add-on. Using that, the Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut, I think, is right up there again. And then the other one that I would nominate for this would be the Haunted Bookshop Cake, which came out. Both of those are the same blends, but they are presented in different styles. The Vintage Cut in the ribbon instead of the shag. Haunted Bookshop in a crumble cake instead of the broken ribbon that it normally comes in, or coarse cut tobacco, I guess you would call it. Both of those would be, well, they're not only my picks, they're the only ones I was able to think of that I knew of and that we had here at Twins.
There's an interesting comment from Kaz. He says, "The beast isn't gone, only slumbering, Pastor." Ooh.
The beast is gone in my cabinet. The beast is gone, Kaz.
So I
I
told
need
him
more
not,
beast.
I told him not
Kaz,
to tease.
I need more beast. Now, I know there's more beast coming out, but don't tease me with the fact that you got beast and Pastor Padron has no beast. You need to send the pastor some beast. I'll share it with Bree, I promise.
Hey,
Maybe.
Kaz.
No, send
I
it to
lost the
Dave.
game.
Oh my goodness. No, that's good stuff. That's either a blend that people either liked it or hated it. The beast. But the first year it only came out with
He's going to bring you some in March.
oh, very, very nice.
That's a little,
Thank you, Kaz.
Thank you, Kaz.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll do something. I'll get you some cigars or something.
I'll get you some cigars.
Well, I could, I could tell him, I've got some sweet.
We can scrape an ash.
I'll save some Samuel Gaywith for you. Oh wait,
Gaywith.
you actually sell it. So, I don't have to. What do you get a pipe guy who works for Laudisi?
Have him,
Nuts.
give him like a little pinch of your Penzance that's like a billion years old.
Well, that's Margate. Margate's the one that's
Margate,
old.
yeah.
Margate I have is 20 years old.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was good too. Enjoying that. How are we continuing to enjoy the tobacco here? Is it staying the same? Is it getting different?
I feel my bowl has been pretty consistent, but I have a pretty deep bowl with my Drac pipe here.
Ditto.
Yeah, twinning.
2 Dracs right here. And that's not just blowing smoke, people. That's how it is. Pat, have you stopped smoking your cigar?
I finished the bowl.
You finished the bowl. What did that take you, like 6 minutes?
I
That's
just-
a 320 there.
Yeah.
That should take you like 8 hours.
I know. Even Nick would last at least 20 minutes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Good old prison Nick.
Mm.
Do we have that still?
I
Somewhere.
don't know, Dave.
Do we?
Do we? Do we, Dave? Do we have the sound effect, Dave?
I hope so.
You're
I know.
reaching for the board. It
Prison Nick. Yay.
Yeah. Prison Nick has left the prison, by the way.
Aww.
Prison Nick has left the prison, and he's going to be starting a new position as a dispatcher at the police station.
Oh, sweet.
So he's out of prison. I can't remember. I probably shouldn't say on the air. I'll let other people say it. But its initials are Plastow.
Matt, what's the legality of that?
I definitely wouldn't say what police station he works.
Oops.
Well, Pat, when you actually light your pipe, you can give me direction like that, okay?
Oh.
Until then, I'm your daddy.
Schooled. Oh, P Daddy.
P Daddy.
Boom.
Tight pants, Pat.
Oh.
All right. What are you thinking about how the tobacco is working there for you, Bree? Now that you're about halfway done.
Still pretty well rounded. I mean, that tart stone fruit is has kind of dissipated and changed into a subtle spice, but it's still very pleasant. And I almost feel like the Scotch is taking the spice back. So it's it's subduing it almost.
Okay.
It's making it a very pleasant pairing. Like nothing is like popping out
Mm-hmm.
from either, but it's just very enjoyable, very consistent.
Pat, what were your feelings as you finished the bowl there?
I enjoy it. It's very consistent, and then by the end of the bowl, it definitely gets fuller body. The spice comes more alive. So
Are we ready to move on to the next tobacco? I brought 2 pipes, so I'm actually very ready.
Oh, you're actually very ready.
I'm very ready.
Oh, do I switch to another pipe? Oh, I
I'm
think
going
I
to
know
keep it going.
exactly
I'm
what
going
I'll
to keep
do.
it going personally. Here, Bree.
I'm going to switch to a different pipe.
Thank you.
Very special pipe.
There we go.
Worthy of the bird's eye.
Be prepared there. Okay.
my socks.
Yes.
His daddy
Put them
socks.
on, Daddy.
Rick,
We
you want to
have
bring them
re-
home with you?
We have requests for Pat to show the daddy socks. There they are.
You should put them on.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
Courtesy of Manager
Sure.
Malone.
All right. So the second choice for our pipe tobacco of the year might be this, the Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut. It is, let me get my notes back up here.
Is this the ribbon?
Yep.
It almost looks like. Oh yeah, I guess it is.
It is.
Tag.
Gawith and Hogarth's Dark Bird's Eye is a traditional blend manufactured from dark-fired whole leaf Virginias and midrib fine
Midrib.
cut midrib. That's what it is. Midrib.
Midrib.
Fine cut Kentucky leaf, rolled and sliced into quote unquote bird's eyes. Long preferred by fishermen and sailors due to its strength and easy preparation. It's offered here in the blending house's traditional vintage cut, a more traditional pipe tobacco cut, ideal for savoring the flavors and nuances of this fine blend. It is manufactured by Gawith and Hogarth. It's a Virginia Burley, Virginia dark fired Kentucky, no flavoring, the ribbon cut, and we're doing a whiskey sour with this, right?
Yes, I actually sent Sean for a straw because whiskey sours are just enjoyed freshly shaken. I think I'll just go around and
Oh yeah.
give it a little stir, give it a little stir,
Very
stir
good.
vigorously.
Is there a reason why it looks like it's curdled?
Because whiskey sours contain a very special ingredient.
Called
Special
sour.
ingredient that tends to create a cloudy appearance and might settle in the glass.
There you
But
go.
yeah, so we are actually doing this whiskey sour with the same exact scotch, the Ardbeg 10-year.
Well, that's really
Thank you.
nice.
So we're gonna compare.
Sounds like
and,
it came from The Witcher. That's awesome.
Nurse Rick is choking and dying in the audience.
Mm.
You know he doesn't like the PD Ardbeg. Go with it for this. Yeah.
Mm.
It's the egg white, Nurse Rick. It's the egg white.
Oh, very good. That goes very well with this.
So this Scotch sour, so yeah, it has the Ardbeg 10,
Mm-hmm.
your classic lemon mixture, and it has a little bit of Di Serono actually. I kind of felt like that might bring out some of the other
Di
qualities. So I'm
Serono.
curious to see how that goes.
Mm. That was a loud ping there, Dave. Mm-hmm. Well, right off the bat, I'll tell you that the whiskey sour and the dark bird's eye is a great pairing.
Hoorah.
I enjoyed the Ardbeg and the Queen City, but I think this is a better pairing. I'm interested to hear what people think. And that's a little lemon zest on the side, a little
Oh,
lemon
yes.
twisty
The-
thing.
Last minute touch.
Mm-hmm.
Creamy. Interesting pairing.
What are you picking up from the tobacco, Dave?
Getting a lot of tobacco notes.
Can you get more specific?
I'm trying to. The pairing just like overpowered my palate for a second here.
Mm-hmm. It's like saying that steak tastes meaty.
Mm.
Yes, that's because it's meat. I taste beef. Yes, it's because it's beef.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Was just asked if we retrohale pipes. Yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
That helps with your whole palate understanding of what you're enjoying here.
I think this cut of the bird's eye is a lot more. It tastes to me a lot more.
Taste me.
It tastes me. It tastes a lot more
That's very
refined to me.
Concerning, Dave. This tobacco is tasting me.
Hey, that's genius.
Bunch of boozers here and not just blowing smoke.
What do I do with this
Yeah, I
extra
really don't
scotch?
like
Well,
that.
might as well just put it in my whiskey sour there. Yeah, well,
Good.
there we go. A little bit more oomph. Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
Pat, do you have anything to say about the tobacco? This was one of your favorite things. This is one of the things you were most excited about this entire year.
Yeah, it has like that kind of like barbecue sauce sweetness to it, like kind of a hickory sweetness.
Yeah, it's got a real savory kind of sweetness to it.
Has like those hay notes,
Hey now.
wood, a little bit of leather.
Is that finished leather or unfinished leather?
It's
Or
complicated leather.
refined leather,
Complicated.
shoe leather, cow leather. What kind of leather, Pat?
Sheepskin.
Dark leather.
Dark leather. What are you getting from it, Bree?
It's very mesquite and it's
Mm.
very robust, and I'm really enjoying with this pairing. And I think we're overdue for one of these, so it's like a rustic ski chalet in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado.
Was very municipal.
That was very skiish. Mm. What do you think of the pairing?
Me?
Yeah.
I thought you said Pat.
No. What do you think of the pairing?
So I feel like the fact that we have those undertones from the Ardbeg of like the typical like I'm still getting a lot of the scotch and I'm still getting a lot of the peat, but it's almost been enhanced by the lemon in a weird way. I think the lemon really makes the whole pairing more zesty. And the first thing I got from the pipe tobacco itself was that like tangy pinch on the tip of your tongue. In a good way. It wasn't quite fruity. It was a little bit more complex than that. So I really see what you were saying about how this is the more tart pairing,
Yep.
but in a very complimentary way. So when I think tart, I think like the lemon would be a good pairing, but then the sweetness from the whiskey sour itself combined with the zest of the lemon and the peat from the scotch would maybe make this even more complex than it already is as a pipe tobacco. So it's
Yeah,
curious to see what would happen.
To me, it's definitely bringing out the sweetness in the pipe tobacco. But it's taking me like a few puffs off the pipe after I take a drink to really get the smoke going again. I guess you could say it's more like a palate cleanser.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, I like the pairing very much. That kind of the lemon after, that's kind of left on your palate after tasting that, I think goes really well with the tobacco.
And I think the egg white's almost taking away the spice that you get on your palate from the pipe tobacco.
All right, let's talk a little bit about limited edition blends that came out this year. Those, I think, were some of the highlights. They usually are every year. And when I say limited editions, like Cornell and Deal small batches, Carolina Red Flake, for instance.
Yep.
That was very good. But and they also came out with Folklore this year. They came out, The Beast was another one. Palmetto Balkan, which was another inaugural blend this year, was also very, very good. But far and away, I think the highlight blend for limited editions was the small batch Sun Bear Mountain Flower. I think I can name other ones. Sutliff's Kringle Cake, that was very good too. C&D's Anthology, which we had, was also very good. But Sun Bear Mountain Flower was out of this world as far as popularity and how it went, the feedback we got from it. We had one customer buy over 20 tins of the stuff.
The Carolina Red Flake this year had Canadian Virginias in it, which are super sugary, and that was just amazing to me because I love the sweetness in the Carolina Red Flake. That with the Sun Bear Mountain Flower, those two are like tied for me. I think those are my favorite limited releases that came out.
Yep. You had both of those, right, Pat?
Yeah.
Would you agree that Sun Bear was the big winner this year for that?
Yeah, I haven't had I think maybe we did have the other Sun Bears, did we? I don't remember. I had one of them. Was that the third?
I think we
release
did.
of it?
We did Mountain Flower, yeah, on the podcast.
Then that's a new one.
Yeah.
Didn't we smoke the second one too?
Yeah, we did the second and the third, I think, back to back on that particular episode.
Yeah, the Mountain Flower I thought was a lot better than the second one.
Yeah, I totally agree. The second one was good, but Mountain Flower was great. And it's interesting how the only thing that really changed in that blend was the honey.
Yeah.
And where it was sourced, and that just added a whole other level to that blend, which was amazing. Okay, so we are naming, best line extension. I'm going to say it was Haunted Bookshop Cake because we've been continually out of it here at the shop. We get it. It sells. It was a great version of that. Best limited edition blend, the small batch Sun Bear Mountain Flower. I think we all agree on that too. Best new blend. I think this is where our fighting is going to happen on the show. And the three new blends that really came out this year were Queen City, which we smoked in the first half of the show, which is our own. So I feel a little bit weird about that. But in this blind tasting we did at Pipe Club, they picked that as their favorite. So, I think it's legit to talk about it here because of that. GLP's Bankside, which came out just a couple of months ago. And then the Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut from God with Hogarth. Those are the three blends that came out. And the Bankside was one of the blends that was smoked blind at Pipe Club, and that did not make the top two. The top two were this and Queen City. So I think, we're going to include our customer base through Pipe Club with kind of helping us narrow it down. But I think it's up to us to pick what we're going to say is our favorite blend of 2022. Queen City or Dark Bird's Eye Vintage Cut.
For me personally, my palate goes to the Dark Bird's Eye. I just love
Why so?
I just
because you're normally a Virginia guy, and Queen City is chock full of Virginia.
I know, but it's I'm not a big Virginia Perique person.
Why? That's just sinful. Jesus had to die for crap like that. Come on.
I like the deepness of the Bird's Eye, the subtle espresso notes, the creaminess of it, the ribbon cut kind of like made it more complex and subtle.
Okay. Pat.
I probably go with if we're limited to the two that we're smoking tonight, I would go with the Queen City, cause the classic cut Dog Bird's Eye I think is better than the vintage. I think the vintage is a little bit more mild, and I also smoking it right now. It's a little bit metallic to me,
Okay.
and with those, Queen City is a new blend. There's nothing like it that I've smoked, so I think the uniqueness of the blend kind of surpasses the different cut for the Bird's Eye. And then for my palate, the vintage cut Bird's Eye is definitely not as good as the classic cut. Because one of the perks of the classic cut is it's easy to pack. It's like thin hairs. And I just think it's just fuller bodied and stronger. Which
It is.
If you're smoking Dog Bird's Eye, I would assume that's probably what you're looking for. You wouldn't be smoking it. So I know it's hard for me, even though like for my palate, Dog Bird's Eye would be what I would pick. It's hard for me to pick it with the original being better than the new one. So
Interesting. Bree.
So in the past, I think I would have said the Queen City, A, for the uniqueness, and B, for how well-rounded it is. I think it's more applicable to most pairings, depending on what you're enjoying it with. Tonight, I am enjoying the Dark Bird's Eye more, and in the past, I've enjoyed it just because of that fact that the retrohale is like smelling straight coffee beans. Which I find impressive. Like, I love a sensory experience.
Yeah.
So it's unique to me and captivating that you can get that from retrohaling this pipe tobacco. And I think like the first half of the bowl is just a very complex experience, and I crave that sometimes, but other times you want something that's a little bit more consistent, and I feel like the Queen City was a more consistent bowl. But the Dark Bird's Eye is an experience. So tonight I'm gonna go with the Dark Bird's Eye, but overall I would say Queen City.
Okay.
I would say my favorite pairing, however, would be Queen City and the tequila tonight. Yeah,
Tequila.
that would be my favorite pairing.
We didn't have tequila tonight. We had scotch.
Or scotch. Jesus.
I was confused. I was like, wait, what did I miss?
Do you want to start over, Dave? I
I would
suggest
say the
when
Queen City
when
would be
you do the show
was my
to put in a little bit
favorite
of
pairing with the
effort
scotch.
and edit that part out before you put
Hey,
out
no.
the audio portion of it.
Mistakes are part of the fun.
They are, but you can make yourself look really good by taking out the mistakes.
I wouldn't be Dave and confused then, would I?
Well, that's true. We might have more listeners, though. The hacks are nodding. That's bad, Dave. And when the hacks are nodding, it's bad.
I'm just gonna drink.
That's you've probably done too much of that already.
Yeah,
if you
I
think
think
that's
so.
tequila.
Mhm.
For my this is hard for me, and I'm a big Dark Bird's Eye fan. I agree, though, with Pat that I do like the original classic cut better.
Yes.
And even though this offers a smoking experience that's very different, I think that the original blend of Dark Bird's Eye for me is more of a standout tobacco than the vintage cut is. There are times I want the vintage cut to get those different nuances and stuff like that. But as I look back over my own purchasing, having had both the classic and the vintage in the store for a number of months now, I have almost exclusively gone to the classic again and again.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Queen City, I am, unlike Dave, a Virginia Perique guy. That's my go-to kind of tobacco. And I think this is one of the best Virginia Periques that's out there right now. It's very good. It's a simple blend. It's just the red Virginia Cavendish and the Perique. And because it's very simple, it probably shouldn't work, but it does. And you get a lot of deep, rich flavors. It gets stronger as the bowl goes on. There's plenty of Perique there, plenty of that vitamin N in that Perique, but it isn't overwhelming in terms of flavor profile either. It stays smooth and stays creamy the whole way down. So I'm kind of for similar reasons to Pat. Probably, I'm leaning towards the Queen City, which leaves us at 2-2. So
Must be the drac pipes.
Must be the drag thing.
oh, we got the audience piping in here. Oh, Pat. I see Pat. Pat's going for the dark bird's eye. Okay. Pat says dark bird's eye. The only my big reason for kind of holding back a little bit is that the Briary Blends Queen City is something that is unique to Twins, and therefore I feel a little bit weird nominating a blend
I
that
think we're
really
perfectly allowed to be biased.
I helped bring to market as the best new blend. The only reason I feel comfortable bringing it forward as a choice at all is because Pipe Club chose it, and
it wasn't
it was
by a
not.
sni-
It
by a
wasn't.
small
It
amount
wasn't
either.
close. It was the clear winner at Pipe Club, and so if I go by what they rated it, this would be the pipe tobacco of the year. It's what they picked as their customer favorite at the Briary, and I think therefore it should be ours.
Has a nice room note.
It has a nice room note.
I love something that makes the room smell good as a woman.
As a
That's what I
woman.
care about.
Let's see here. We'll light it
So
back up.
can I change anybody's minds here?
Light it back up.
Can I change anyone? Oh,
Pretend I didn't hear that.
all right. I'm going back to the Queen City. Relighting that pipe.
Woo. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
See all you YouTube guys later. Remember one thing.
I'm getting a lot more flavor off the Queen City than I am the Dark Bird's Eye vintage cut.
I'm actually liking the pairing better with the Queen City.
Can I change the minds of either of you here?
Well, the pairing's irrelevant, right? To what we're
Really?
doing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I brought
The
two
silence is
pipes.
astounding.
I
here.
really wish I brought two pipes.
Mm.
Well, what pipe tobacco can you buy that's like Queen City?
That's a good question. That
And
kind
then
of puts it in perspective.
when you have a vintage cut, what
Well,
pipe
no, I think
tobacco
that's
can you buy?
unfair. I think that's unfair.
I think it's totally fair.
It's totally not fair. That's bullcrap. You don't compare. It tastes. I think the classic versus the vintage, they taste almost like two different tobaccos. So I'm not gonna prejudge it just because it has a different cut.
It's the same blend though.
It doesn't matter. It tastes different. It's like the DBS. None of us liked it until we had the 60. So do we can it just because the other two suck?
If you're talking about the best blend, then yeah. If it's
come
not
on. So
blend's not consistent through different sizes, that's a thing for it.
No, it's consistent to me. I like it just as much as I like the.
You
the
just
vintage.
admitted you didn't like them until you had the 60 gauge.
No, I'm not. Yes,
That's an
but
omission.
that's what I'm talking about. Is my palate prefers the bird eye.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what cut it is.
That's the point I'm making. Thank you.
But I'm
Dave
not.
is very
my
dazed
point,
and confused
no,
right now.
no. Let me be very clear here. My judgment has nothing to do with the other cut of bird's eye. It's not biased because of it.
I'm not
My
saying,
palate is saying that I like bird's eye, the cut that we're smoking, better than Queen City. It has nothing to do with if I can get something similar that I like better than it. That doesn't make any. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to say that. But nothing. It's too. We got,
Well, this isn't about what your favorite tobacco is. It's about which is the better blend. In other words, I think that when you're talking about
well, if we're talking about which is the better blend, then it doesn't matter what my palate is, and it would be Queen City because it's sold more.
Well, I was gonna say, what is better based off of? Is it better?
But
is
if
it
we're
based off
saying
of
what
age
am I going to
experience?
pick,
What
I'm
what was
going to pick
easier,
bird's
what
eye.
was easier to light, what was easier to pack, what had the better experience going through the bowl. You might like some of the
better
flavors,
experience tonight would be the Queen City.
Yes,
it went better with
100%.
with both the pairings.
well, the pairings don't.
I relit double the times with the dark bird's eye than I did with the Queen City.
Yeah, it's
was
stuff
more
like
consistent.
that I'm talking about. What stays lit
Regardless
more?
of-
What's the consistency of it? And that was one of the things I appreciated about the guys at Pipe Club. When it came to like what their smoking preference was, flavor wise, it was probably going to be something more on the lines of Bankside, which has Latakia in it. Most of the guys really like Latakia tobaccos, but the number of times they had to relight that put them off to it. As far as you open the tin, you smoke it, is it ready to go? Does it perform well? Does it smoke well? Is it consistent all the way down? Does it change up or anything like that?
Well, if I'm putting my personal enjoyment of the actual flavors of what I'm smoking,
I
then
mean,
I'd
I
have
think
to-
that should be part of it, but I don't think it should be the sum of it because I don't want this to be. This isn't the pipe tobacco that we enjoyed the most this year. This is what do we think is, in fact, the best blend of
Queen
the year.
City.
Well, I think it's Queen City.
Queen City.
Really.
I mean, I'll be honest. It's like to me, it's like Queen City, and then the Dark Bird's Eye right. But I enjoy both of
No,
these.
if I'm gonna do what you said and put like all the different things you have with pipe smoking on the line and grade them, I think Queen City would definitely come out on top of over the Dark
So I'm
Bird's
still
Eye.
confused
Because
how.
I just lit like the Dark Bird's Eye like 20 times to the 2 times I had to light the Queen City. you know?
How is Dog Bird's Eye a nomination for the best new blend of the year when it's not a new blend? It's a line extension. I'm confused.
There goes
It
the
was-
show,
it
folks.
was-
Had to blew it
Am
up.
I mean, I'm,
like
I don't
like
know, am
I
I
said,
wrong?
like I said,
No,
at the-
you're not.
No, like I said at the beginning of the show, there's not a lot of new pipe tobaccos that come out in any given year. This one was not on the market before, and therefore I included it in the list. You could argue that it's a line extension. I could also argue that when it came to cigars, cigars like the Mi Querida Black or the Monte Cristo 1935 Espaso were also line extensions
It's a different
that
blend,
I
though.
also would consider for best blend of the year.
Well,
But they-
in
but they-
itself, Queen City is a line extension, a part of the Briary.
Oh, it's a
blends.
brand new blend. It's not like you just took like a cigar and
Changed the
changed its
cut.
style.
Like a line extension to me of would be like if you took like a Boston Tea Party and made it into a crumble cake. That
Which
would be
is-
like a
line extension.
line
It's essentially what.
Okay, so then
Dark
Dark
Bird's Eye
Bird's Eye
did.
is definitely 100% a line extension then.
all right. Well,
So regardless,
So
I
best
think-
best new blend based on
well, then it's Queen City.
then it's Queen City, and this is the line.
Disqualified.
Disqualified. By disqualification, Queen City has it. It's like a WWE match, you know. Like, it's disqualified. Whoa!
Oh my goodness. Nurse
It was-
Rick is
it was-
Nurse Rick
It was
Rick
going to
is
be the
shaking his head.
724 blend from the
Yeah.
beginning, anyways. Come on now.
Have you ever had either of these? Have you ever had either of these blends? No. Okay, so be quiet. Yeah. They're both blends. They're both blends. What do you mean that one's only a blend? Queen City. So we're in agreement now.
Yay, Queen
Queen
City.
City.
Yay.
Yes, queen.
Queen City.
Yay.
Best new blend of 2022. Both by popular demand and the opinion of at least 2.5 people of this panel.
No, it's got my full vote.
It's got your full
Yeah.
vote.
It's got my
Yeah.
vote.
It's got yours.
Yep.
Yep.
By
So
that
we're in agreement by those
qualification,
qualifications.
It's
Yeah.
not about us. It's about the people.
Fight the power.
And we did, and each other, and the audience. All right. Well, that is our show for tonight, then, people.
Aww.
Isn't that wonderful? It's all over.
Mm.
Oh. And
I'm so relieved.
yeah, Pat's so relieved.
can put
But
his
you've got those new
daddy socks
and it
on
looks
now.
like you need socks,
I
Pat.
know, right? Are you cold? It's freaking January and you got no socks.
Does he have socks on?
No.
Can you tell
Hey,
if he
you
has
have a
socks on?
short
Can you
sleeve
check?
shirt.
Take a peek in there.
Yeah,
Is good socks?
Why are you
There's
touching
socks
me?
in
Warm
Good
in
sock.
here.
Okay, well, I'm
He's
glad.
got
I'm glad. I'm glad he's
My
wearing
man
something.
over there is
Ankle
wearing a
socks.
short sleeve shirt. What are you talking about?
All right. Well, if you like what you heard tonight, you'll want to be
Mr.
back
Jacket.
next week because it'll be just as good
Maybe.
or even better. So be with us next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, and that's Not Just Blowing Smoke, people.
You've been listening to Not Just Blowing Smoke, the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twins Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and keep in touch with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke. Thanks for listening, everybody, and that is Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Rolling with the top down.